Welcome back to the channel, guys. So in this review, I have the SH Figuarts Vegeta power level, or 2400 power level. This is from Tamashii Nation's SH Figuarts. This is what the box art looks like. I mean, always, they're doing a good job. I got some nice pictures on the back of this new Vegeta. So let's see what this guy looks like outside of the box. From what I've seen so far, pictures and videos and things like that, like it's kind of like a new mold. Before I get into that, when you open your box, you do get all the instructions you need here for assembly, because he's going to come with the crossed arms and a few different interchangeable hands. So I'll put this box to the side. This is what your figure is going to look like coming out of the box in its packaging. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 face swaps total, crossed arms, like I said, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs of hands. It's not a lot of accessories, but it's enough for a Vegeta figure. So I'm getting this guy out, man. I would say just right off the top that he looks way better in hand. So we'll definitely look at him in a second. He's feeling nice and solid. We'll go over the accessories first. So I'm gonna just, well, I was gonna pour it out, but these ones are easier to grab. So 4 faces, 1 crossed arm, and then a few pairs of hands here. So we could go over these hands first, as usual. He comes with 2 open palm hands. It makes very well for posing with key blasts and things like that. But the details look nice. Next we have his, these are also like blasting hands, but I guess you could call them like karate chop style hands. The detail looks really, really good. And I have the Scouter Vegeta here to make a comparison with, so. And then we have the half open, kind of like clasping, gripping hands. So those look good as well. Some good swappable items there. So next we have these crossed arms. These crossed arms definitely look different from older figures. This actually, if you guys are familiar with the Android 17, he comes with crossed arms. I think 18 and 17, they both come with crossed arms that go in the shoulders versus going in the biceps. So, and I can show you the difference in what I mean by that versus biceps versus shoulder input. So that looks good. Next, we're gonna go over the faces. So here is the first face. This is kind of like Vegeta's classic smirk. The hair sculpt is definitely different on this figure. There's only 1 ear on here. So, well, I see an ear here. We'll look at that in a second, but the other faces are coming without ear. I guess it makes it easier to swap it out, but the details on this figure are looking really dope already. I mentioned in my KYEWI review that it seems like SH Figuarts Tamashii Nations are definitely paying attention to like third party and things like that, because the third party companies have been coming out with face sculpts that their details are just killing it. So here is a yelling face, and that looks pretty sick. One of the complaints about this figure is that the faces look long and things like that, but in hand, and if you're familiar with Dragon Ball Z, the anime series, this is like screen accurate, man. And I think I've seen some pictures of the manga. I didn't read the manga, but you could type it in on Google, and Vegeta definitely looks like this in this saga. This is from the Namek Saga. So, and here we have another kind of like smirking, teeth gritting face. So this one does have the ear on it. Maybe I could lower this light down 1 notch. Excuse me. So this one does have the ear, and it is detachable. So I guess you can swap this ear out with every face sculpt here. So this is the teeth gritting face. And then last but not least, we have the figure here. So I'm gonna take off this plastic so we can get a closer look. And move these faces to the side. We'll get back into those in a second. So looking at the figure up close, again, this hair sculpt is different, but it's definitely screen accurate to the anime if you're familiar with that. This last head is kind of like a straightforward looking face. He's got his scouter on. We'll see how that works and interchanging it in a second. These flaps, a lot of people were whining and griping about in the beginning, but I don't think it's too bad. Like, these are kind of like the ones that came on Broly and Turles is how I used to pronounce it, but they just flip up and flip down. They won't get in the way of your articulation, and we'll go over the articulation in a second. So there's no shading in the figure. This is just blue plastic, white plastic, some yellow plastic here, white plastic obviously. This is blue paint, and then the skin tone paint, but this skin tone and the neck is the skin tone plastic. So again, with the white boots, no shading in the figure, but that's not bad at all. So I like the screen accuracy, and we'll go over the articulation now. So he's got really good head tilt side to side. He can look down about that far. He looks up pretty far also. We'll see what that neck peg looks like in a second. Full 360 on the head. These flaps are looking like, so they hinge up. They can hinge like up that way and then kind of up that way. So they do not go down. Do they go down? Oh, they do go down. So they also go down. So this is just like a swivel hinge here. So up and down and side to side, I guess you would say. So if you flip these up, we have his shoulder articulation. It goes up about that far. And this Vegeta looks a lot more buff than the previous Vegeta. So this may be like, you know, a really good Vegeta figure. These can go on a full 360 once you be careful to get it around his shoulder pad. He's got the bicep swivel. And then let's see how these butterfly joints do. So these butterfly joints kind of have like a pull down section here, or actually, no, I take that back. That's like there's a ring around the socket or the hinge. So this is interesting. So this right here is kind of like a 3.0 because the peg goes in that way and it goes down in there. So they've been mixing like 3.0 with 2.0, and everybody was trying to wonder, you know, what version of a figure that this figure was. Is it 1.0, 2.0, 3.0? So the shoulders are definitely 3.0. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbows look good. And you have the wrist peg that goes around, and you get the tilt there to get those good poses when they're kind of like flexing and things like that. So ab crunch on this figure, you can't pull it up, so you can only crunch forward about this much. That's not very much at all. It goes back about that much, so not much ab crunch there, but that's not bad. His legs can go in a full 360. You get these arms up, he can do the splits about that far. Yeah, because this piece again for his legs are hindering that. But I'm sure these splits can go straight forward and straight back. Yeah, they can. He's got the double jointed knee, which is really good. Looks like he gets some really good posing here. Thigh swivel. And then these feet are still on that same ball peg with the toe hinge. A little bit of a hinge there. So back to 2.0, 3.0 and things like that. So I would say that this top version is 3.0 because the shoulder input, and then the bottom half is still like a 2.0. So, and we'll take a look at the older 2.0 Vegeta here. So before we get into some swaps, we'll go ahead and measure his height, because this figure was actually shorter than the previous Vegeta. So he stands at about 6¼ inches to the tip of his hair. And to get a height comparison, this is the previous Scouter Vegeta. In the build, his shoulders are lower and his head is lower, but the hair meets at the same point. This is the recustom head sculpt, but the sculpt is totally different. This is a 2.0 model, and like I said, this top version of this new Vegeta may be 3.0 because it's a little bit thicker than the shoulders, but the legs are still using the 2.0 technology, if you can see. But this 2400 power level Vegeta is definitely a lot bulkier than Scouter Vegeta. A lot of people say that this Vegeta is more accurate to being a Scouter Vegeta. I've seen people put a skirt on him as well, so the browns are different and the armor, and you know, the head is definitely bigger. Just the proportions are bigger, and he's a little bit shorter. So there's a height comparison between 2.0 Scouter Vegeta and that Vegeta. Here he is next to Krillin, which is in the same saga. And then swap Vegeta out for Gohan. Those guys look good together. They're definitely in the same scene together. And then I do have his counterpart KYEWI here, that he definitely beat up pretty bad and made him explode and things like that. So this figure did come with some accessories to put on this Vegeta, and I will put them on. If you want to take a look at this figure, I have a review up also. So let's see how these accessories work. So let me take his head off here. This is what the ball peg looks like. This is the same ball peg that is in this Vegeta, and I would head swap this in this video, but it'll take long because his head is kind of stuck. So I can make a separate video for that. But the ball pegs are the same. Here's what the peg looks like. That was an easy swap. And then this is what the Scouter looks like. So he comes with this nice looking Scouter. Looks pretty sick. Let's do a face swap here. This is what the face pegs look like. They're still similar to the older build, but it looks like it could stay in a little bit more. It has like a ridge here, so it could kind of get stuck in there to prevent it from falling off when you're doing your swaps and articulating and things like that. So the same Scouter goes on every head. So we'll put this Scouter on this new head here, and that looks pretty dope. Slot this in because I'm most likely going to pose him with this grinning face. And then just to confirm that they're all interchangeable, I took the ear out of this teeth gritting face, and I'm just going to put it right in here with the straight looking face. So you could get them looking straight, or any one of these faces to interchange both the ear and the Scouter. And I can make a short video showing all of them. So this is what the wrist pegs look like. The wrist pegs are getting thicker on these figures, which is great. And since I am going to take his wrist peg off, let's go and see these accessories from KYEWI. So like I said, KYEWI came with 2 accessories to complete Vegeta and his interaction. If I can just get this out. So this is what that face looks like if you were to get that figure. And then we can put the Scouter on. And this is what the Scouter looks like on this extra accessory. Again, if you guys are looking to get KYEWI and complete this little duo, so the Scouter, I mean, obviously it looks good on this face also. And then again, this is when he's blasting KYEWI out of the sky and making him explode. I guess he's kind of looking up like that. I don't remember exactly how he's looking, but you could get this guy in a good pose to complete this this look here. So that looks good. And again, that KYEWI review is up on my page. So last but not least, we'll go ahead and see how these crossed arms work. So this is what they look like. It's definitely showing pegs here. Oh, well, at least you can see that this shoulder pad comes off easily. So I'll probably just take that off for now so it could be out of the way. And then let's see how easy it is to pull these. Yeah, so that was easy to pull out. This is what the peg looks like. Let me just take off everything to get it out of the way for now. They come out, they snap out really easily. And I think this will prevent us from like breaking the other version of the crossed arm. So your pads have a left, you can see an L there, so you won't get confused. This one is obviously gonna have an R. And then we're gonna slide this little peg in here. That slides in super easy. I didn't hear it click, but you can feel it. Oh wow. I guess the arms come apart also, so maybe I should read the instructions on the box. But it fits flush in here. If you get this butterfly joint to pop out and just pop this in just like that, and they kind of sit flush right in the armor. And then you go ahead and put your shoulder pads back on. And these pop in super easy. You know, I've seen pictures of these crossed arms where people weren't like connecting the shoulder pad here, but you can though. You can, it closes just fine. Just pull out this shoulder butterfly joint, and yeah, your flaps can fit right over that. So I'm sure Tamashii Nations wouldn't miss on that small detail. It just takes a little snapping in and things like that to get these pads back on. So that looks good. This shoulder pad's not, well, I think I know what it is. Move this down just a little bit. Okay, just like that. And that looks sick. Like I said, some of the people's pictures that I've seen, like their shoulder pads are like up here. It made me think that you couldn't get it flush, but you can. So, and I actually heard that SH Figuarts fixed that issue. So for the sake of this look and the way I might be posing him before I close out, I'm gonna put this scouter back on his smirking face because I like that look for Vegeta. And there you have it, Vegeta, 2400 power level. I got mine from Toku Collectibles. He's around $85. I can leave the link in the description below for Toku. It took forever for mine to get here because this was a P Bandai, like a pre-order. So they get their items like a month later. So if you're willing to wait on a pre-order, then you can do that. But once they become available, I guess in the US, then they're like selling them and you'll get it like in 3 to 4 business days. So real quick, the difference between the crossed arms, and this one comes off at the shoulder. And then there's a little peg in there that some people tend to snap off and things like that if you're not careful. So so that's the difference between the two. One goes in the shoulder or in the socket on the chest, and then the other one goes in the shoulder. So if you feel like this video was helpful, go ahead and hit that like button. If you want to keep an eye out for my next videos to come, go ahead and subscribe. Until then, thank you for watching.